Welcome to the Pirls Stock Market Commentary video, your weekly window on stock market technical conditions, featuring the proprietary Bull-Bear Point and Figure Market Breadth Summary Chart for June 4th, 2017. Market breadth. With this past week's market advance, our Bull-Bear Point and Figure ratio at 1.41 rose from 1.30 last week, advancing further into bullish territory. The total count of securities in bullish or bearish patterns decreased 1% to 3,093. The count of bearish stocks decreased 6%, while the count of stocks in bullish patterns increased 2%. The Pirls P&F Market Breadth Summary Chart shows us a market now 1 week in bullish territory. Paid subscribers have access to the Open Office Calc data from which the chart is generated. You may become a paid subscriber by visiting s2pmarketsignal.com, clicking Membership, clicking Register, and following the prompts. To subscribe to the weekly Pirls Stock Market Commentary free of charge, simply enter your email address in the space provided and click Subscribe. The well-known market breadth indicator, the Nasdaq McClellan Summation Index, rose 25 points for the fourth advance in 6 weeks. At a positive 118.35 points, it continues below all 7 tops above plus 100, and it continues above all 5 bottoms below minus 100 in the last 3 years. Volume analysis. In this week's volume analysis, the Nasdaq Composite Index ended in neither accumulation nor distribution mode, with average daily volume higher than the prior week. In the last 2 weeks, the Nasdaq had 1 accumulation day and 2 distribution days. Accumulation days are counted when the index closes up on higher volume than the prior market day, while distribution days occur when the index closes down on volume higher than the prior market day. Last week, the Nasdaq ended in neither accumulation nor distribution mode on lower average daily volume. Momentum, now at a positive 196.40, up from a positive 177.35 last week, and without dropping below plus 100 for the week. The CCI 20 daily Woody's CCI 20 uptrend and zero-line reject long trade simulation continues. At Friday 5/19 close, after 2 days below zero, it formed a valid zero-line reject long entry signal for Monday 5/22 open. We will continue to follow this trade simulation in next week's commentary. In Woody's CCI trading system, 6 consecutive bars above or below zero are required for a change of trend. The weekly CCI 20 of the Nasdaq Composite Index began a Woody's uptrend 57 weeks ago, while the daily CCI 20 began a Woody's uptrend 28 weeks ago. The CCI 20 weekly has risen to 175.91 from 161.57 last week. We await the return of the CCI 20 weekly to the plus or minus 50 range for another potential simulated trade. Industry rotation the last 2 weeks. All of the top 5 industries are positive, and all of the bottom 5 are negative. Summary: some tech on top, oil services, oil, gold and silver, and banks on the bottom. Bullish: semis, disk drives continue in the top 5. Networkers have entered the top 5. Gold and silver has entered the bottom 5. Oil and oil services continue in the bottom 5. Bearish: KBW Bank continues in the bottom 5. REITs have left the top 5. Focus this week from www.internationalman.com. They killed Bitcoin 129 times. Each time, it came back even stronger. By Doug Casey. The following are some key points. At a recent investors conference in Miami, I heard a presentation about this little-known market from a former hedge fund manager named Tika Tiwari. Tika is extremely well connected in this market, traveling all over the world, meeting with experts. He explained that over the past year, this market has taken off. Dozens of cryptos have shot up 1,000%, 5,000%, and even 10,000% or more. This got my attention. I know a bull market when I see one. It seems to me that a marvelous bubble is building up in this area, and it's one that I would like to take advantage of. On June 20th, 2011, Forbes wrote, "So that's the final end of Bitcoin then." On January 16th, 2015, USA Today wrote, "Bitcoin is headed to the ash heap." On May 5th, 2017, the Daily Reckoning wrote, "The death of Bitcoin." Since 2011, Bitcoin's been declared dead at least 129 times. Newsletter writers, journalists, and academics have called it a Ponzi scheme. Others like the idea in theory but have doubts. They are convinced the government will shut down Bitcoin and render it worthless. If it were 2013, I would have agreed with them. From 2009 to 2013, Bitcoin rallied from a fraction of a penny to over $1,100 and then spectacularly crashed 85% to $185. It looked like a classic pump and dump to me. That's why I ignored it. But then something very interesting happened. Instead of collapsing back to pennies, Bitcoin found support in the $200 range. Even after the bubble popped, Bitcoin was still worth billions. This intrigued me because true Ponzi schemes have zero value when they crash. In the depths of the dot-com hatred, Amazon started quietly climbing in price. Back then, I made the mistake of dismissing this action. My error was buying into the prevailing belief that dot-com stocks were dumb and worthless. I listened to the narrative instead of digging deeper into the Amazon story. That was a mistake of lazy thinking. So when I saw the same thing happen with Bitcoin, I decided to do something different. Just as important, I wanted to know what would stop the U.S. government from banning it. How would the currency outgrow its widespread reputation as a form of black money used by criminals? What I found out was this. At its core, Bitcoin is just a way to send and receive value without the need for a trusted middleman. Bitcoin has no central location. That means no government, including the U.S. government, can ever shut it down. In fact, several countries have already tried to ban Bitcoin and found that it was impossible. At least two of them, Russia and India, have decided to recognize Bitcoin as money. Governments are realizing that it's better to have a hand in how Bitcoin is shaped and regulated than to try to destroy it, which they can't. The real strength of Bitcoin is the underlying network of highly secure computers that support it, called the blockchain. This is where much of the value creation will come from. As I write, software developers across the world are building applications designed to piggyback off this network. Over the next 3 years, we'll begin to see a slew of new applications emerge for Bitcoin and the network that supports it. They will support everything from asset tracking to recording land registries, and much more that we can't even think of yet. That's why Bitcoin will continue to grow in value. Since those obituaries started popping up in 2011, Bitcoin has rocketed from a low of 75 cents to as high as $2,770, an astronomical 369,223% gain. The next time you find yourself being scared out of owning Bitcoin by a negative article, do yourself a favor. Read the last 129 times Bitcoin was declared dead. Additional recommended reading: Bitcoin and Ether cruise past $61 billion valuation by David Seaman. Thank you for watching this week's Sand to Pirls Stock Market Commentary video featuring the proprietary Bull-Bear Point and Figure Market Breadth Summary Chart compiled by Donald Pearl, www.s2pmarketsignal.com. Hoping that you are enjoying a peaceful and pleasant weekend, that you are looking forward to a prosperous and productive week coming up, and wishing you true success.